If you're looking for a getaway this winter for rejuvenation and transformation, join Psychedelics today for our Vital retreat at Blue Osa in Costa Rica. Blue Osa is an eco-resort that's all about harmony with nature. It's nestled between the jungle and the beach and primarily runs on solar power. And included in your Vital journey are 8 days and 7 nights accommodation, 4 transpersonal breathwork sessions, 2 as a breather and 2 as a sitter, 3 farm-to-table meals per day, and you'll also receive a $50 gift certificate for the on-site Blue Osa spa so you can indulge in some relaxation. Spend your free time taking a dip in the natural pool, exploring miles of secluded jungle beaches, and experience guided birdwatching hikes at sunrise. Stay active with daily yoga, intuitive movement, and CrossFit practices to keep your body and mind in sync. There's also free Wi-Fi if you wish to stay connected. Your group airport transportation is also included, making it a hassle-free adventure. So if you're ready to reconnect with nature, yourself, and other like-minded healers and professionals, join us this January 6th through 13th, 2024. Visit psychedelicstoday.com/events and scroll down to the Costa Rica retreat page for more info.
Every year, psychedelics are becoming more accepted into mainstream culture, and people all over the world are asking themselves, how can I get the skills, foundations, and tools to build a meaningful career in psychedelics? Well, that is exactly where Vital comes in. Our 12-month interdisciplinary practitioner training program is robust, inclusive, and most of all transformative, both personally and professionally. Our graduates have gone on to do many different things in the psychedelic space, like working at ketamine clinics, consulting on clinical trials, opening a retreat center, starting their own coaching or wellness practice, and even launching a psychedelic media and merchandise platform, and so much more. Classes start January 23rd, and our application deadline is December the 20th. But if you apply and enroll before November the 19th, you'll save $750 from tuition. Head to vitalpsychedelictraining.com to download our full course curriculum. You can also check out our events page at psychedelicstoday.com to sign up for an upcoming Q&A session or to join an expert-led topical taster webinar. Find out whether Vital is the transformative journey you've been looking for. Hey everybody, welcome to Psychedelics Today. This is a Vital Psychedelic Conversation. I'm here with Vinitha Watson and Judson Frost, and it is very early in the morning for me and very late at night for them. It's Sunday for you and it's Monday for me. So I don't think we've ever done that before. We're on 2 different days of the week. But welcome. It's really awesome to have both of you here today.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yeah, and when you joined Vital as students, I interviewed both of you, and I was just blown away by you both. I was like, oh my God, those people are so cool. Like, a bit of me wanted to be friends with you, but obviously, you know, I live far away. And then a bit of me was like, wow, you're doing such amazing work, and you've created such unique, I think, pathways and callings to life and profession, but just, yeah, from a place of authenticity. And so I had the idea of bringing you both together because you're doing different things to each other, but you're also, I think, coming from that same kind of anchored, embedded place of authenticity. So we're here to talk about your work, what it's like being in Vital, and you've both given permission for us to get spiritual, because I sense, yeah, there's that spirituality is really a big part of maybe how you experience life. So I want to, yeah, just kind of get to that. Before we do, maybe I'll ask you first, Vinitha, would you be okay just to tell folks a wee bit about yourself?
Yeah, sure. I am, oh my goodness, it's such a big question. I'm a depth hypnosis practitioner and a shamanic counselor. I see clients and work in altered states through sound and meditation. I'm also executive director and founder of an organization called Zoo Labs. And we are an artist accelerator where we teach mostly musicians about business. And we've been doing that for about a decade and investing in the BIPOC community.
Beautiful.
And for those who don't know what BIPOC is, those are Black, Indigenous, people of color communities who are artists.
Love it.
Yeah.
Thank you, Vinitha. Welcome.
Yeah. Thank
Hey,
you.
Judson. Yeah. If you'd like to tell folks a bit about yourself as well.
Yeah, thanks, David. Yeah. Where do I start? I'm currently in college right now. I'm a graduate student at Naropa, which is a Buddhist-based, mindfulness-based school here in Boulder, Colorado. I'm studying psychotherapy in the transpersonal mindfulness counseling program. Um, a lot of things have taken me to this place in my life. I've been a body worker for 25 years, doing structural integration and different somatic body work practices. Um, I've been a yoga teacher. I've studied yoga um, for over 20 years. I've studied Vipassana and mindfulness meditation for over 20 years and lived in Burma and spent time around the world at monasteries and meditation centers. And yeah, my path has brought me to working, you know, I've kind of had this other side of me where I haven't really exposed it until now that I've been working with psychedelics my whole life for like 40 years. And as the laws have currently changed in Boulder, I've started to step into working with people with psychedelics. And I've also been part of like the Native American church for at least almost 20 years now. And it's been a huge part of my life. You can see in the art behind me. And so, yeah, I'm kind of mixing these worlds of healing that I've been doing and bringing kind of a deeper, more professional, and it's something that's I'm more passionate about. So I'm currently developing this. I'm not really stepping fully into my practice yet. Um, there's a lot that we're going to probably talk about that I'm just developing. I'm just starting to create as I'm in the Vital program. So it's something that I'm still getting training and something I'm developing. So yeah, I'll leave it there. I've done so much in my life. I'm an artist. I'm a potter. Um, I've opened up yoga centers. I've yeah, I'm an avid outdoor person. Spent a lot of time leading people in the wilderness. Um, yeah, and I'm just interested in so many things. Working with the youth, I've taught youth on primitive skills and survival skills in the wilderness, and deep connecting with nature, which is a huge part of my path. And yeah, just a lot around spiritual awakening, bringing together aspects of healing, spiritual awakening, and connecting to the earth. And yeah, and we can talk more about it here.
Thanks, Judson. There's loads there. And one thing both of you have is that you're both parents. So we were just talking about that before we press record. And for me, that's the most spiritual thing there is in life. And it keeps me anchored and avoids too much spiritual bypassing to be a parent because I see my shadow every day. But yeah, just before we jump into it, like what any teachings that you've learned from being a parent and how that helps you with life, with being authentic, with kind of being accountable and work as well. But yeah, what's it like being a parent? How have you kind of experienced that so far?
Yeah. I mean, for me, you know, a lot of the artists who are kind of now having children, I always pass on the same information, which is don't worry about your children. A lot of people worry about their children kind of stopping their careers. And I feel like in my instance, it was like my kids made me super focused on what was important and what wasn't. And like they made me understand just how much time I can actually spend on something or what I need to spend or how to manage my energy. So like for me, my kids have been like the biggest teacher in how to show up for them and what energy I have left to show for everything else. yeah, I dig being a mom. And I feel like it's such a big part of who I am, but something that, I don't always get to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't often talk about it. It's just we keep it to ourselves. But it's
For sure.
yeah, the biggest and most important part of life, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
What about you, Judson? What have you learned so far? What are you working on around parents and life itself?
Well, okay, yeah, thank you. My daughter is now a teenager, so I'm learning a lot. And I've also been a single father, so I for my whole life, and I've it's been a part time, so I was still able to. I was had like my foot in both worlds of being a parent and also having my freedom and being able to work on myself and do things I want as well. So I would say my kid has been an anchor for me for the most part. It's allowed me to have to stay in the world and have a lot of responsibility and not just travel endlessly and drop out of society, which I would have probably have liked to. So here I am having to develop a career and be able to take care of family. And my daughter right now is teaching me so much as you transverse into teenager and that type of development. So we are doing a lot of work around um, how to make relationship and right relationship with um, challenges of life, pain of life, traumas, um, difficulties, and yeah, we talk a lot about that with each other, and we are really close and best friends, and yeah, I just trying to teach her how to turn towards the pain of life, which is really symbolic with psychedelic work. And we talk about psychedelics too, and what they do and how they work. It's a big, huge part of our family. As me and her grew up in American church, and she started going when she was young, and so like we grew up in the sense of like she was born into it, and then I was like a young parent, and we like have spent years in there together, and yeah, we've always shared a deep like sense of spiritual connection and growing together, and um, it's been really magical too. There's been a magical side of being a parent, and yeah, now it's turned into being best friends and talking about life together and um, sharing and supporting how we can face the things we want to run from and hide from, and encouraging each other like that. So being a parent has really I guess helped me and showed me a lot. Like what are some things that we really have to work on here? Like the difficulty is showing up all the time, and how to support each other and work through that. So yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Judson. Yeah, I really appreciate hearing that. That was a good question I went into there. I think we don't talk about it enough. It's like we hide that aspect of ourselves. We want to look professional and all polished up. But yeah, it's such amazing learning experiences. And thank you. The first question I want to ask, and it's something we always ask in a Vital Psychedelic Conversation, is for each of you, what would you say is one of the most vital conversations that we should all be having around psychedelics for folks kind of interested in this space? Maybe Vinitha, could I ask you to share one of your things you think are most important?
Yeah, I continue kind of coming back to this over and over. And I think that we need to be speaking about integration just a lot more. Just about how much space, how much material can come up in a psychedelic journey. And sometimes what I've seen through my clients and working with them is that integration can sometimes takes 6 months to a year. And I loved how one of our Vital mentors who came in said, like, I'm still integrating one like 30, 40 years later. And I think that, that messaging is just gave me a breath of fresh air when we started talking about it. Because, I feel I've dipped my toes in and out of these realms, and there is a lot of harm that can be done when there's no space for integration. As much as we may feel that it's alleviating our pain, that there has to be space in between, to really look at the material, to look at the symbols of our psyches, and to really be able to get this intimate understanding of the symbols of our psyches, and what they're telling us. And so I think it's such a special place to go into integration after a psychedelic journey, and to really have a process and someone holding that space for you. Yeah, so I would love to see that. I think it is a vital conversation to have.
Is that a conversation you feel like you need to have with your clients and with people that you're familiar with around what is integration and the importance of it, and kind of how to give it honoring and space?
Absolutely. I had a client recently who said, I'd never want to do psychedelics again, and then signed up for a ayahuasca journey. And so we were talking a little bit about, like, what is it, there were some unprocessed things from the last journey. And I think the conversation is like, as long as people feel internally scaffolded is the way that I would say it. If you feel internally scaffolded enough to go in and just feel like you can understand where you're at, I think that's a great space. And if people really feel like they need to do it again, then that's okay too. I really do trust, at least my clients, I definitely trust where they want to go and what they want to do. And my job is really just to help support them and have the best experience and feel grounded when they're in those spaces of expansiveness, or going into the pain, or going into the grief and trauma, that they can just hold themselves or have tools to bring in compassion. I'm never going to lecture anyone about what is right and what the right frequency is. But I do think it's worth a conversation around, do you feel like everything has been integrated from that session, from that past psychedelic journey? And maybe it never will, and so who knows what timeline people are on. But I do think some space in between is helpful.
Thank you. Yeah, that is super important, without any doubt. So I love that you shared that. Thank you, Vinitha. What are you thinking of, Judson? Something that's kind of pops up for you as a vital conversation we should be having?
A vital conversation we should be having around our just the use of psychedelics.
Yeah, so it could be for individuals using psychedelics, for how you see kind of the collective kind of conceptualization of them, the systems we're building around them, and any and all of those areas, if anything stands out.
I feel like there's so much to talk about here, as we are just learning this and accepting it back into culture after prohibition. We're like learning and growing a lot right now, as understanding psychedelics and how they fit into our culture and society and healing and our well-being. I feel like preparation and getting this, the skills together, and like mindfulness skills, preparedness, to go on the journey is essential. The integration, of course, is essential. And then there's a lot that's been inspired from Vital about group healing and group awakening, as in what we were calling regenerative healing in that one talk, and just really healing as a culture and a people and community is something that I feel like as a in the world and right now it's just we're just talking a lot about just helping each other grow and heal and being recognized as a community, like our changing and evolving and being witnessed by our people, our friend, making new friends and staying in each other's lives and having this kind of this like collective awakening. What we were talking about with Joanne Macy and this collective awakening together. I just feel like it's so essential, and just in our state and our world, like we live in isolated parts and kind of in our own world, and how we can start supporting each other and evolving and working on ourselves and uh, like facing our shadows and um, facing our darknesses and holding each other as we walk through these things and come out the other side as being brighter, more connected people and creating that connection with each other and with the earth and with our great bigger creator, whatever you want to call it, God, the source. And yeah, I also feel like our preparedness is essential too. Like, what skills do you have to go on the journey? What skills do you have to face hardship? Like, I always tell people, I'm like, this taking psychedelics is not so sexy, you know? It's not like it's gonna be all your problems are gonna go away. Like, they amplify it. You're gonna face them. You're gonna face the things, they make them bigger, and you're gonna have to feel them and go through those experiences that you may be running from. And what skills do you have? You know, do you know how to like relate to your breath and have mindfulness to get out of the stories and have a way to regulate yourself? I just feel like that's so essential to go into these and have that sense of trust and safety with your guide, with the person, your therapist, or whoever's sitting with you. Have that deep connection, and then, of course, integration. You know that you have to. I feel like that's the part where we come back to society, and we're having to be recognized and seen in a new way, and how to implement that with our people, with your family, your friends, your job, your work, your kids. How are you, and how to bring these new insights back into life? I always see things like on the monomyth or the hero's journey of, I just see it so well, like how eating psychedelics, you just go off on this this path that you have known nothing about, unfamiliar place. It seems scary, you know, when you have the call to do some type of awakening or healing on yourself, and you want to learn something, and then you have to do this, going into this unknown place, and it can be scary. And having this guide and holding your hands, and then you face the shadow, the dragon, the darkness, something you're really afraid of, and it can be really scary and hard. And um, you know, having the courage and support to stay with it, and then there's a gift in it. There's a gift, and it may be something that is really beautiful, and it can be something that is something that you want to release about yourself, and something like some learning you had, and then how to bring that back to the world. And that bringing it back to the world can be the hardest part, and be seen in a new way, and to bring your that gift you have, that understanding, into your life, and having that integration and support to do that. And sometimes it can take your whole life, right? Like, as Vinitha was saying, it could take your whole life to integrate that. But to get the support, like it's like a therapy, and having that person that's helping us dive deeper into what that was for you. So that's a lot, I know, but a bunch of things that are on my mind that are important to talk about.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Judson. Yeah, I'm feeling like I've arrived now with the three of us talking. Beautiful. Yeah, and we are coming from a very deep place, and the future, I think, is in our minds a lot right now because of the way our collective reality and society is looking. To what extent, we're going through a collective rite of passage right now, kind of into the chaos. And we're really we are in that kind of big collective trip right now. We're not yet able to integrate what's going on and make meanings of what is happening right now, but we're definitely in that kind of spiral. I wanted to ask you a question, Vinitha, about holding space. I know both of you are space holders. So I'm interested for you particularly, Vinitha, how do you hold space? What are some ways that you support people to come into contact with their inner realms, with their unconscious, with their soul? What techniques might you use? I know particularly music and sound is something that you use in hypnotherapy, but yeah, any particular, like, how do you approach that idea of holding space for someone with one of those intentions of being to support them coming into contact with, embracing, infusing their kind of holiness and whatever it is deep within them that maybe hasn't been so familiar and tapped into recently?
Yeah. I really credit my mentor and my teacher, Dr. Isik Gucciardi. She runs the Foundation of the Sacred Stream, and we are rigorously trained to hold space and to kind of clear up, kind of similar to Judson. We hold that shamanic perspective, but we also hold the Buddhist perspective around aversions, attachments, misconceptions. And we are always kind of clearing our own energy system. I'm constantly in a state of healing myself, coming into consciousness, working on being present. And I would say that the biggest thing that I've learned, because when you get into these non-ordinary states of consciousness, you can travel, and it can either be connected with your client or not connected. Sometimes you can kind of get swept away by the circle that you're creating. And the way that I've done it is I've rigorously worked on healing myself so that I can be that hollow bone. And what I always tell my clients is, like, I'm here to ground. So, we talk a lot about most people are walking around in the world in a power loss state, and what I'm here to do is just add power to the circle, to ground, so that my client can really reach their higher self and can work on their own transformation. And all of that belongs to them. So, my job is really just to continue grounding, holding the space and clearing the space so that they can do the work that they need to do. But that also means that outside of the space, I'm always doing my own work. I'm always doing my own energetic cleansing. I have my rituals, my practice, my meditations, where I go inward and really look at my own attachments, my own aversions, my misconceptions. And I really have to work on, like, letting go. Like, I'm not in control of the process. The end is going to be what the end is. I just have to help guide and scaffold for the client, and that's that's about it. Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Vinita. I would love to go a little bit deeper into the hypnotherapy piece, and particularly you've been trained in depth hypnotherapy, and I've done
Yes.
a bit of training in that. So how does that work, and how do you use that in your practice with people?
Yeah. Yeah.
And with yourself
So,
as well? I don't know if it's part of your own kind of personal practice using those techniques.
yeah, it is. So hypnotherapy is just such a great way to use voice. I generally use voice or meditation to get people into a relaxed state and kind of into those theta brainwaves where they can kind of broaden their sense of consciousness. Um, and we use things like Ericksonian redirects so that, the mind really wants to hold on to ordinary reality. But the body also wants to lead. And so the hypnotherapy um, component really just helps people relax and go into the state of themselves, go into their bodies. They're able to follow an emotion, and it is very somatic of a modality. We go through, we follow an emotion through the body, and often are in regressions or past life experiences, or we're looking at an energetic interference, whether that's something that an energy that got attached to the client that we have to now look at. And so really, it's really this nice blend of hypnotherapy, shamanic practice, Buddhism, and transpersonal psychology that kind of makes this really nice um, toolkit to get into these broadened states. And we often say, it is like a slowed down plant medicine journey. And people will have mystical experiences, will have these wondrous moments of coming into contact with themselves. Um, and then they can come out, and then they can have some time and go back to ordinary reality pretty quickly. So it's pretty phenomenal what this process can do and what I've seen.
That's awesome. I love the sound of that. It's really amazing how there's so many different ways that we can, touch that part of us within and then keep that connection going. So many different ways. I know you're really into dance as well. And
Yes.
So it's just, it's a beautiful thing, isn't it? That there's, and I think it speaks to that principle that of our kind of inner healing intelligence, that part of us wants to be known. It wants to be experienced and brought into life and connect and integrate with the other aspects of self.
Totally. I mean, a lot of clients will ask me, like, was that real? And my response is like, it looks like did it happen? They're like, yes. I'm like, you got it.
Right. Because I think that question of, is it real? We use that to limit ourselves and reality by what's real, like what's tangible, what can we prove, what fits into a little conceptual box of our society and culture, what is real, what is important.
Yeah. And clients are like, whoa, like I would have never believed that this was me being able to do this. So it's pretty exciting. Yeah.
Awesome. And Judson, for you as a space holder, what are some of the techniques, the approaches, the frameworks that you use when you're holding space within yourself and supporting somebody else?
Well, I feel like the first thing I bring to a space and I encourage other people to bring to the space is courage and that bravery and that ability to kind of face the unknown, face our fears and still move forward into them. It's something that bringing that encouragement, I feel like to encourage someone is really important. Like support and encourage them to take a step towards something they feel uncomfortable with. And I feel like in that is, like I said before, there's a gift sometimes in what is hard sometimes to face. So I have that. I feel like that's the most important thing I really bring into being a space holder is guiding people into feeling something that might be uncomfortable, and not to like try to avoid it and turn away, which is so common in life. We don't usually have that support to really face that and to learn from it. Um, something that may feel a little uncomfortable and unfamiliar. So I feel like that's a major thing I bring to the session is that encouragement and courage, how to be courageous and face parts of ourselves, and I help and support that, and I'm here as like a guide, or could be a guide. It sometimes could be an angel or like a good friend, and somebody you feel safe with to go to unsafe places or places that you feel unsafe inside yourself. And yeah, I feel like, and then the other part I think I bring is mindfulness. I think my own mindfulness of my own thoughts and emotions and how to watch them and not be them, and how to just accept everything that's arising, is something that I do in myself and encourage my participants and my clients to do as well. And I try to teach them that before they get into psychedelic work, or I mean, here talking about psychedelics. So that's my main work that I try to encourage them in, and as well as in the therapy work I do as well. It's something that it's been a foundational piece for me, and it's been foundational in psychedelics, and psychedelics like led me to studying Vipassana in Burma too. So it's, to me they go hand in hand, and I feel like it's a foundational piece to be able to watch your mind and watch your body without taking it personally. Um, those those are the two major things that I feel like I bring to the space that's on my mind right now.
Beautiful. And maybe just Judson, to go a bit deeper into the bodywork aspect of what you've done for a long time. You've been saying, how do you understand the body? Like, what is this? Let's just conceptualize this thing. Like, we're in this universe that is, billions of light years across, the depths of which we have no idea, and we're born and we die with these bodies. And there's this spiritual aspect of existence that we all tap into and share and can connect with and support each other to connect with. What role does the body have as the vehicle for transporting us through life and death in the human realm, and as a container for our soul? And how do you use your work with people's bodies, and to help them with their kind of body knowledge to tap into our layers of existence?
Wow, I mean that was a lot, David.
Sorry, I do that.
Try to do that in pieces here. So why I look at the body mainly as the well, in the healing aspect of working with the body, I see it as a nervous system, and how the mind is connected. So, and you can't separate the body and the mind. There's, to me, I don't even separate them. I feel like they should be talked as one thing. And um, I've seen so much healing of the mind happen through the body healing, and vice versa. Like you touch one, you touch both, and like our core beliefs, how we view and see the world, it's all tied into our body. How you relate to yourself, all your traumas, your pains and wounds as you were a kid, as we grow up and as life occurs, societal way I don't know, like societal traumas or societal things. They show up in our bodies too, and we can see like we're collectively holding in certain ways. And when we release these things out of our bodies, um, and out of our minds, we find freedom, right? I find that our pain becomes less, and our holding, our tensions, our anxieties, our mental well-being, it starts to get released as we open our bodies, and vice versa. As you release it in your mind, your body begins to release. And I feel like it's a huge thing in psychedelics, especially in Native American church. We've healed people of a lot of diseases like cancer, even by changing the way we view ourselves in the world. And it's the healingness of the mind that can help the body, and vice versa, right? Like, as there's, I don't know, that's the spiritual evolution. When we connect more with spirit, when we connect more of really who we are, a lot of these things start falling away that may not be serving us, that could be hurting us. And yeah, I feel like there's a huge healing that happens with psychedelics with the body. I mean, our Native American church, like peyote way, that originated for healing. That was total healing, a lot of physical healing in initially when it came about. Um, the way the Comanches used it a few hundred years ago, they started to use it and share it, and like that now, that's the main thing that we use it for, is the healing of illnesses and body stuff. Um, and through that, you have spiritual awakening that occurs at the same time as people heal, and and mental well-being. I mean, as I feel, mental well-being and physical well-being is being connected and undoing a lot of these things that are separating us from each other and from the earth, and from our creator, or creator, it's the whatever bigger, this bigger higher power that's breathing and living in us. And I feel like when we start connecting to there, we start to create that sense of wholeness, and we integration with our body and mind and spirit. And yeah, I feel the body is just a vehicle for spirit too. Like, the body is, the human is comes out of humus, which is just of the earth, and the spirit somehow comes into this body magically, miraculously, where we become embodied, born. And there is a spirit. I feel a spirit inside of us that was never born and died and enters this body. And it's about really connecting with that spirit, soul. There's not really a word for it. Consciousness, awareness, but learning to connect with that inside of us, that brings that healing to body and mind.
That was awesome. Thank you. Yeah, that was a really wonderful answer to my rambling question. Thanks, Judson. Beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah, definitely. Just a feeling I'm getting from hearing you is there's a lot of separation, and what we're doing is connecting those separate parts, like within us and between our body and identity, and and the collective and spirit as well. Anything you wanted to add, Vinitha, around that topic?
Yeah, I mean, I was just kind of thinking about our culture and how it feels like a lot of the work that we do kind of cuts our head. It's like we're kind of in this realm a lot. We do a lot of computer work. I was just thinking about culture and how, a lot of it is in this like disembodied state. And what the result is disease, is pain, is sorrow. I think that's why psychedelics and altered states are just so important, because it just gives you a state to come back to yourself and a way, a doorway in, I agree with Judson. I think it's a vessel. It's the way that we interpret the world around us, but we can also transmit, right, from this vessel of ours. And it's just like, is there for spirit to pass through. It is there for us to evolve, understand different energies, be reborn. Yeah. But a lot of our society doesn't promote us being in our bodies. So I do feel like there is an existential, place where we're at around fighting to be in our bodies, fighting for that space back, kind of that peace, to be able to come back, that time. Yeah.
Thank you. And I'm noticing that being embodied is somewhat radical. It's also quite risky because it makes us a bit more sensitive and tuned into the realities of what's surrounding us, like our family, our work, our community, the world. Like, we are more tuned into it. Like, we are less separate from it. We are connected to it. We're part of this reality. We can't hide from it. And I think the less embodied we are, the more stuck in our heads and in just that kind of hamster wheel, it's easier to separate and detach, as maybe as a bit of a protective mechanism.
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's first and foremost, safety, where we're like, bye, I got to get out of here. Like, this does not feel safe, but yeah. But I do think healing is through the body.
Yeah. I wanted to ask Vinitha about dance and music and sound and like your personal experience of dance in your life, and also, the work you're doing with artists through Zoo Labs. If you could just talk us through, those two pieces.
Yeah. Oh, well, I am a daughter of immigrants to this country, to the US. And for me, music and dance and art was just central to how we were raised. It was also kind of a lifeline back to India and our family. And so from a very young age, everything I did was about art. I danced Bharatanatyam, I sang Carnatic vocals, and I did those two things for, 20 years. And I think that when I came to the shamanic work, I actually realized how much shamanic practices actually happen where you do get into trance-like states. You are channeling different energies, and you are able to transcend space and time in these trance-like dances and music. And so, music has been central to my life, my family's life. And it came to a moment, I think for me, where I felt like, well, how does one live in ordinary reality as an artist? What are the avenues to support yourself, to support your families, to support your art? And I decided to start following that question when I created Zoo Labs. And Zoo Labs is a music accelerator. We're a nonprofit, and we teach business skills to artists. And it has been transformative because the work that we do ultimately is aligning the channeling that they're doing to make their art to serve community in ways that are positive and have positive social impact. And artists are already oriented in this way. But it's just been really amazing to work with some of the most brilliant people that I know, and help them align their soul work with getting to be sustainable in the ordinary reality, for getting the value. And, primarily I work with a lot of people of color. And so the conversation is really around value and our value. And there's a lot of trauma. There's a lot of obstacles in understanding our own value as artists, and to be able to ask for that and to be able to create businesses that sustain that. And so it's really been a spiritual path to walk alongside these artists who, their first inclination is only to serve, and to make the world a better place through their art. So being able to help sift through the trauma and the obstacles of getting their value of themselves in return for what they deliver has been pretty meaningful. Yeah.
Awesome. I love that. Yeah, it sounds like there's an aspect of coaching there, helping them to tap into that artist within and to channel that, and in a sense not to give up, but to stay real in expressing and channeling that, what the art is doing through them.
Absolutely. I got my MBA from an art college. And so really it's like, first and foremost, you design for life. We're always thinking about the whole person in the business. And so it's a pretty radical perspective on business. But it's worked so far.
Awesome. And Judson, I remember when I first met you, I interviewed you, I was like, dude, did you do all those paintings behind you? Like when we did the interview, I was like, yeah, these are mine. And I'm looking at them again right now, those paintings on the wall. Like, those are amazing. What does art mean to you? And why do you do art? And what does it give you? And how's that part of your life, I wonder? Just briefly, if that's all right.
Yeah, I think you actually tried to trade some of my Vital training costs for painting.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Art, and what is it for me? To me, it's when I get out of the way is when art really shows up. It's something that I feel like I know nothing about really, and it's something that just flows through me, like a little bit like Vinitha was saying. I feel like I just kind of make a bunch of mistakes, and a picture starts to appear, and I just follow that. It's kind of a saying that we say around Native American church is like, don't get in front of it, just follow it, get behind it. And I'm constantly trying to get behind the medicine, trying to get behind what spirit is telling me, what is guiding me, what is it feels good. And I sometimes look at a blank canvas and I don't know anything and what to do. And I'll just start throwing paint on it or scribbling. And when I keep looking at it, an image appears. And the image pops out. And what you see behind you is like some images that appeared on the canvas. And they just kind of start to come to life after a while. I mean, and my art is never complete either. I think I just, like an art piece, I just finally just got tired of painting, and then I just never got back to it. It's still so much more to do. But I just, yeah, that's me and art a little bit.
Beautiful.
My
Thank you. Yeah, that's a really cool flow that you get into when you're doing it. Sounds like I can connect to that with writing more so. Like last night I wrote a little poem. I just wrote one word, happiness, and then just had this big download. Like it's just a 1-page poem, but like where did that come from? Like I just wrote down one word and then all of these other words just came on the page, and it is a beautiful thing just to tap into that, to open that up, and it wants to express itself. All right, so this has been beautiful. We have to do this again. One just final question I want us to tap into is about Vital. So before you started the Vital journey, bring to mind and body and soul, where were you then in life? Why did you want to do Vital? What was one of the main kind of reasons for kind of starting that process? And so far, we're just wrapping up module 3, going into the winter elective, so we've still got a way to go. But so far, what are some of the the gifts, the skills, the outcomes, the experiences that most strongly have, met with you?
Yeah. I think for me, I came in to Vital with many interactions with the psychedelic community. And as a woman of color, I did not feel safe. And I was really wondering why I kept just interacting with either practitioners or spaces that just didn't feel welcoming or safe to me. And I really started thinking about safety, psychological safety, the safety of the psyche. And when I saw Vital, I felt like there was a very clean energy around it. I felt like it was trying to convey the reality, kind of the middle path of where we are right now. And so far, I feel like that's exactly what it is. We're having conversations around ethics. We're having conversations around integration. We're having conversations around holding space. We're having conversations around our own shadow as the practitioner. I think a lot of these conversations are, no pun intended, but maybe vital to the space. And I was really heartened to see that. I have classmates from all over the world. And it's just been such a rich experience. And and I continue kind of, linking up and thinking about how can we provide more safety, especially to people who look like me, Yeah.
Beautiful. I love that you described it as a middle path. I hadn't thought about that before, but yeah, I think that's why we've designed Vital in a way to be somewhat agnostic. So we give you everything that there is in a sense, and allow you to kind of build it and make it, and go with whatever your flow takes it. And I actually just wanted to mention, I interviewed a student for this next round starting in January that lives in Mumbai, in Maharashtra. And I was saying, like, if you join us in Vital, then you'll be the first student from India, like living in India, to be in the course. We've had a student now that's in Nepal and in Iran and Hong Kong, but no one yet from India. So I'm really hoping that she can join us. That would be amazing.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, awesome, Vinitha. And yeah, Judson, for you, going back to what was the intention and kind of direction for Vital, and so far, kind of where are you kind of feeling it's leading you?
Well, I live in Colorado, and where psychedelic movement is just beginning here, as it just got legalized. So I joined Vital as just a support to start getting into this work of being a sitter and holding space for people, and as a psychedelic therapist, and I'm also in school for therapy, and it just went hand in hand, with the work. And I feel like my mind has been like blown a little bit through Vital and all the well-roundedness and all the different speakers that have come on, and it has shown me parts of working with psychedelics that I had no idea about. And I feel like I'm just getting so many angles and so many different types of people and experiences, whether it's indigenous people or people that have worked with indigenous people or scientists and philosophers and um, spiritual seekers, and it was just therapists. And I feel like from every angle, I feel like I'm just getting this depth of understanding and of something like something new. I'm just like learning new things that I never thought about. And I felt like I came to it thinking like I knew some things, like a lot about working with psychedelics. And it's really shown me how little I know, and how I need to really open my mind in a lot of ways around it, and things I never really considered. And I I tell everyone about this program. I'm like, this is such a solid program, and encourage everyone to do it and take it. And I'm excited where it's going to go. I feel like I don't know how long this program's been around for, but I feel like it's just this ever growing, evolving creature. And I'm so thankful I invested in this. It was a big invest for me, and it was a hard invest. And I'm actually really thankful I did it, and I feel like it's helped me and is priceless. And yeah, I'll take a lot of this stuff with me for forever.
Thank you. Oh, that's so good to hear. Yeah, that's exactly what our intention was with creating Vital. I've learned so much from the teachers, but yeah, so much from the students from around the world, and just having completely different perspectives, realities, and intentions. It's beautiful. Thank you. Before we wrap up, can you tell folks if they want to look you up, find out more about your work, where should they go? Vinitha, maybe I'll ask you first.
Sure. They can go to unseenenergy.com, and that's for my depth hypnosis and shamanic counseling work. And to see the artists that we work with, or even the music that they put out, you can go to zoolabs.org.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vinitha.
Yeah, thank you.
Judson, how about you?
Yeah, so for the work that I'm doing, and I'm at judsonfrost.com. So JUDSONFROST.com. And yeah, that's for the psychedelic therapy work and for body work and therapy that I'm offering. Yeah.
Beautiful. Well, that is a wrap. You are now allowed to go to bed, and I'm going to go have my breakfast.
Nice.
Yeah,
Thanks for making the time.
Yeah, this has been great.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you. Thanks so much for listening, everyone.